Hello and welcome. This is another in the 10-minute tip series of recorded programs for credit and collection professionals. This one is titled Antitrust Issues Affecting the Credit Department. My name is Michael Dennis. I'll be the presenter. Let's begin with an overview. In the U.S., antitrust laws are enacted to make certain business practices unlawful. More specifically, practices that could hurt consumers with actions resulting in higher prices, lower quality, or fewer goods or services are unlawful. Antitrust laws affect certain day-to-day credit decision-making and business activities, in particular in connection with the idea that payment terms may be subject to U.S. antitrust laws. U.S. courts have held that a creditor has the right to extend credit or to refuse to extend credit to a particular customer or applicant, provided that the decision is made unilaterally. Any express or implied agreement between and among creditors to offer or not to offer open account terms to a customer or an applicant or a group of customers may be a violation of U.S. antitrust laws. The rationale for U.S. antitrust laws. Free and open markets are the foundation for the strength and growth of the U.S. economy. Aggressive competition among sellers in an open marketplace results in important benefits to buyers, to consumers, including lower prices, higher quality products, more choices, and greater and faster innovation. There are both federal and state antitrust laws. These laws are necessary to promote vigorous competition and to ensure that the benefits that I listed above are realized, and to protect consumers from anti-competitive mergers and unfair business practices, and also to ensure that individuals and companies damaged by anti-competitive behavior have the right to sue and to be compensated for their losses. Guidelines for creditors. Credit pros need to know that they must avoid discussing any unified action with one of your company's competitors, as well as avoiding discussing any unified action with any other trade creditor, such as, for example, a discussion that might occur at an industry credit group meeting when a particular customer is brought up for discussion. As I mentioned on a previous slide, credit decisions need to be made unilaterally. There can be no collusion between and among creditors with regard to what action we might take with respect to a customer or an applicant or a group of customers or applicants or customers in a particular territory. It's a great idea to try to maintain records of the rationale that you used when making a credit decision, especially the rationale in connection with a negative credit decision, such as, for example, a negative credit decision involving refusing to extend credit to a customer, or a negative credit decision relating to not agreeing to offer the customer the credit limit that they requested. If there is an allegation of collusion in violation of antitrust laws, the documentation that the credit department maintains is going to be essential in defending against that allegation. Documentation in this context includes memorandums, letters, emails, and records of conversations or records of meetings that you keep in connection with the credit decisions that you make. Interactions between creditors. Creditor companies interact with each other all the time, every day. They're contacting each other to request references on a regular basis. And in this regard, competitor companies sometimes need to interact with each other. And it's very common for competitors to contact each other to request credit references. And it happens all the time. Often, competitor companies belong to the same industry credit group, and they interact with each other at credit group meetings, and they interact with each other in the form of information that they share that's available to the other company in the form of a credit report on a customer. And in fact, that's the entire intent of credit groups, to allow credit managers to network with other credit professionals in order to gather data about existing and prospective customers. So the issue as it relates to antitrust is there is no issue. There's nothing unlawful about exchanging factual historical information with other companies, including with competitor companies. But there's always a risk associated with antitrust rules and antitrust law violation when creditors interact with each other. What's over the line, what's clearly inappropriate, is any situation in which two creditor companies are no longer acting independently, because such behavior, such collusion, is inappropriate and potentially even illegal. So let's talk about the behavior within industry credit groups. So we know why we join credit groups: to network, to gather information, to gather trade data and experience about common customers. The representative of the industry credit group is there to moderate credit group meetings to ensure strict compliance with relevant antitrust laws. So the rules governing the typical credit group meeting typically include the following. The experience that you're reporting has got to be historical, meaning that it relates to past activity. For example, you can talk about the date the account was opened, their recent high credit, their current AR balance, how they normally pay you, how much is due today, how much is past due today. And you might even answer the question relating to, do you have collateral or security? Because those are factual and historical in nature. What industry credit group members may not do is discuss or even hint at any future plans or intentions. For example, it would be inappropriate in a credit group meeting for you to say, when I get back to the office, I'm going to place this account on hold based on what I learned today. Because that is not historical. That is not action that you've taken. That is action that you are planning to take. So you are safe to the extent that you share information that is factual and objective. As it relates to antitrust laws, there's nothing wrong with credit exchanges as long as they're factual and objective. But subjective comments and opinions are never acceptable. For example, it would be inappropriate and unethical and potentially unlawful for you to provide a subjective comment such as a response to a question, how would you rate this customer? Or do you think it would be safe for me to sell to this company on open account terms? Those are comments and opinions. They have nothing to do with factual historical information that you can point to. So to be compliant with U.S. antitrust laws, decisions about the activities, the decisions that you make in connection with the customer have got to be made on an individual basis. No group action can ever be planned or suggested or discussed or agreed upon by members of an industry credit group, whether they're at the meeting or elsewhere, or at dinner, over drinks, at breakfast. It literally doesn't matter. You're not allowed to collude in connection with credit granting or credit decision making. In addition, the information that's developed through the interchange of information in an industry credit group needs to be kept confidential. In other words, it needs to be used by the credit department personnel only and not shared broadly, not published, not broadcasted, but shared only with people that recognize their obligation to keep the information confidential and not to use it in any manner that would be in conflict with the relevant antitrust laws. Well, thank you for your time and attention today. I hope you found this brief presentation to be helpful. If you'd like to order the entire on-demand program, please contact the sponsoring organization to inquire about it. Thank you. Take care.